welcome back to the Probably TMI Podcast.
Hello.
Hello. We, if you guys didn't know, Mads, Shelby, and I are just a bunch of anxious girlies, and today we're just going to be pretty much talking about anxiety and our point of view from it and like how we deal with it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
We have a lot to say on the subject, so.
We do.
We know a lot of people relate to that.
Yeah.
Especially around our age, mid-20s.
For sure.
Yeah. It's like something that I'd be surprised you didn't have anxiety. But before we go into it, I would just like to share a few words about last week's episode really fast.
Yeah, just a little like PSA.
Okay. So if you guys don't know, me, Shelby, I do the audio and like the editing of the videos at the end of the week. So I'm basically the captain of making sure technologically we're on the right track during our recordings. So last week we filmed the first episode, which was supposed to be like a hot celebrity tier list. And we had over an hour worth of footage. And
Sure did.
during the hour, my camera died. Charlotte's screen recording stopped working on her MacBook. So we had to switch over to my computer and start the screen recording all over again. My camera filled up. The battery died, everything. So we were like, damn, let's just completely like trash that video and start over because it was just so much at that point that had gone wrong. So we're like, let's just start fresh.
Yeah.
So we start filming this new episode, which is the episode you guys heard about the snack or the condiment tier list. I screen record that on my laptop and come to find out it didn't capture anything that we recorded. And then not only that, but my microphone wasn't even on the full time we were recording the audio. So that entire episode was cursed by the devil. I don't know what happened. But technologically it was a complete fail and a complete disaster. So hopefully this episode will go better.
It was really unfortunate because we were putting our condiments in a tier list. Like you could see where we're putting it, where you see us talking about it, zooming in, zooming out. So of course the one episode where we're using technology and wanting to show you guys the screen, that's the one episode that didn't work out.
Yeah,
Of course.
So
But it's a learning experience,
Yeah.
and boy, did that cause Shelby some anxiety.
Oh my God, did it. I spent probably like a conglomerate of like 12 hours just trying to figure out what to do because nothing was working. And so I was just in a pit of despair and just decided to give up. And then that's when I decided just to upload it on YouTube anyway for our hardcore fans on YouTube. Excuse me. And just make like that little graphic, which was kind of cute.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I mean, I was telling the girls, it's like, podcasts are usually audio only.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we just do the video because it's fun and it's something to engage with and see. So it was unfortunate, but at least we were still able to pull that audio and use it to our advantage somehow.
Yeah.
But we're really sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
We didn't want that to happen, but
It sounded okay too. The audio
okay.
sounded good.
I mean,
Obviously not Blue Yeti good,
Yeah.
but
it's a little muffly, but
yeah. So
as much
sorry
as we
about
could
that.
have gotten for you guys.
Yeah.
Please forgive us.
Sorry about that. We've had a few mistakes, a few bumps in the road, but we are doing our best.
I mean, it was none of our, we couldn't have helped it. It was all technology.
It was cursed. From the moment we started recording, that whole episode was just cursed.
And we don't have publicists or managers to fix it for us, so we just gotta go with it.
Yeah, and boy did we.
Boy, did we.
We really did. So anyway, yeah, anxiety. That's a perfect segue.
Yeah,
Technology it does cause me a lot of anxiety.
it was frustrating.
It makes me mad. Technology just straight up makes me so angry, like when I can't understand what's going on.
So to just dive right into it, when did you guys start to experience anxiety? Because I feel like I didn't start experiencing it personally until my adult life. Honestly, probably the past couple of years.
I experienced anxiety for the first time after I started dating my first boyfriend in high school. And I think I was 16 at the time, and I kind of started developing real feelings, and not because they weren't real before. But I started, being in your first relationship, there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot that you discover about yourself and ways that you realize you want to be treated by somebody. And I was treated really poorly in my first relationship. So that's when it started for me. And then it's just completely snowballed into something completely different now.
I think, recognizably, I probably started to feel anxious probably around the same age, like sophomore year of high school, 16. One of my best friends at the time, her dad had just passed away, so that was a lot. But or even earlier, I think when my parents got a divorce when I was about 9 years old, I think that's when I didn't know it was anxiety because I was so young.
Yeah,
but that started like the short panics that I would have every once in a while, and it would root back to that.
Okay, that's a really great point because there's a lot of things that I look back on now that I'm older that I did as a kid, and I'm like, oh my God, that was anxiety showing itself before I knew what it was.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
And I would start I went to like a private school back in the day when I was in like elementary grade, and it was right after my parents divorced before I moved to a public school. But like I would start to like not act out, but like not be myself, and I got in trouble with the school like a couple times because I wanted attention. But I remember like I would have like breakdowns like all the time just because I would get so overwhelmed because of just
totally
young and all those feelings. But
that's how I am now.
When I felt it, I'm like, it was probably 16 when my friend's dad passed away, and it was right before I got into my first relationship.
Like where you realized what it was.
Yeah, I was like, what's this panic inside
For
me?
me, I would be like 10, 12 years old, and we had cable back then, and I was back then when cable was a thing, and I would be like, okay, if a movie trailer comes on next, I'm going to hell.
Yeah, I had lots of those thoughts.
Yeah, like very weird possessive thoughts that would be like, if this happens or if I do this, I'm going to hell. Like
I think that's OCD.
Well, I had those too. Like when my parents separated and my dad was living on his own, I was like, what if my dad's like choking on his dinner right now and he's dying?
Yeah.
I just had like intrusive thoughts all the
time.
So
many intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like I've heard that that's very like OCD where people, you know how people like do like, oh, I have to hit the light switch like so many times or whatever. That's like an extreme version of it, but like it's like they tell themselves like I have to do that or my family's going to die.
It's
or like something horrible is going to happen.
Yeah. It's like the obsessive compulsion disorder without the obsessive part, because I feel like I wouldn't think about it. I wouldn't want to do it, but like I'd have those compulsive thoughts where it would feel more intense than it was.
Gotcha.
I think with having Tourette's, because I have Tourette's, a whole slew of like other mental problems come with that. Like I'm pretty sure OCD, anxiety, and depression are like all tied in, ADHD, whatever, with Tourette's. And there are some things now that I'm older that I recognize as having like OCD about. So that's probably what that was.
Sort of like self-diagnose like what those triggers were and things.
Yeah. What about you? When did you start having anxiety?
Well, I feel like I did have anxiety like a lot from school and just like feeling pressure like with like college classes, but not till like college. Like I don't know, I was very kind of just like didn't really try that hard or like care that much about anything when I was younger, because I don't know. Yeah. I just
early college.
It was very much like, oh, everything will be fine, like I'll wing it, whatever.
Yeah.
And then once college came around, it was like you're paying for these classes, like there's so much more pressure, like you don't have the same like relationship you do with like the teachers, and you know, it's just very different. So like I think that caused me a lot of anxiety, like feeling like a failure in a way and stuff. But then, you know, I stopped going to school, and now it was gone, and it kind of redeveloped when I moved. Especially like around that time, but
to
like
Arizona.
Yeah, but then it became a lot like that's when it like started, but it came like a lot more extreme, and I was having like more panic attack than anxiety, which is kind of like which I thought it was just anxiety. I didn't really understand like the difference. At the time, until like recently actually, but because I've been having panic attacks again. But yeah,
I get the academic stress. I don't usually I would just get overwhelmed and have like one breakdown and I'd be okay, because I knew I was good at school. Like I was always successful, so I knew it'd be okay. So relating to like early college, I feel like most of my anxiety came from like my surrounding, like friendships and the end of friendships and my current boyfriend at that time. So that's where I feel like where it started to hit me hard, because it went away for a little bit after like graduation, then it came back and then it went away, and now it's great and high and very there.
Yeah.
Not great in a good way, but.
Do you think that like anxiety is rooted or like from like worrying?
Honestly, I'll chime in and say that I'll get anxiety even in like my comfiest state. I'll get anxiety if I'm just laying in bed watching a TV show, and then suddenly I'll break out into like a heat induced panic, and like
I'll like wake up with anxiety.
Yeah, me too. I've been waking up with anxiety lately and really negative thoughts. Like I'll wake up with like racing thoughts of like everything that bothers me right in the morning, and it kind of like fucks my day up, and then I'll be like, okay, I just need to relax. Something like everything's fine. But like I would say anxiety comes from a place of like worry for sure, not knowing what the future holds. Like you're kind of living in the future instead of living in the present. When you have anxiety, you don't have that moment where you relax.
Because when I was looking up kind of the difference and trying to understand what like I was going through, I was looking at very like anxiety versus panic attacks, and like a big one was like anxiety's triggered, panic attacks are not necessarily triggered. So that's where I was kind of like, I don't know.
I feel like people
it's
with
worry
anxiety.
that's like what triggers anxiety a lot, or like what it is.
Well, then you pass over into the disordered anxiety, because you can have general anxiety, which would be like getting anxious before you do a presentation. Or it can turn into disordered anxiety, when you get anxiety that doesn't have a trigger. It's just you just have anxiety.
It's like intrusive thoughts that just come about. I feel like that's what I struggle with a lot, is just creating scenarios in my head that's happening currently that are not happening at all. And I'll just think negatively, and then I'll start to believe that they're happening, into a state where my heart's racing and my face is red and I'm panicking. Then later I'm like, there's nothing happening. It's just my brain making up situations.
What are your guys' favorite intrusive thoughts?
Oh gosh.
I have a slew of intrusive thoughts that just literally bury me alive.
Where do I begin, you know?
My number one intrusive thought that I've been struggling with for like years now is the thought that I'm going to eat a certain food and have an allergic reaction to it. And like it has disabled me from trying new foods without worrying about it.
You've gotten a lot better at that though.
Oh yeah, it was really, really, really bad at a certain point where like I would not touch or go near anything I didn't know.
Or like you would spend like minutes looking at everything on a bottle or package in the refrigerator before you would even think about eating it. Yeah,
I had to get help over that. Like I had to seek therapy because of how bad that was. But yeah, I'd say now it's just like, I still feel that way. I
get waves of that every once in a while, especially with medication.
Yeah, like I'm afraid to eat this, or like it could be anything, honestly. I used to worry about like trying on clothes and like the clothes giving my body a rash.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was just completely like unobtainable thoughts.
I don't think I have intrusive thoughts, really.
That's good.
Oh, you must know so much more peace than we do.
Damn. I was like, I'm trying to relate, but I don't know if I'd do that.
Intrusive thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good for you, girl.
I just have panic attacks for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Mine a lot of the time is like just the people in my life. I worry about them a lot. Like sometimes I worry about them more than I worry about myself, which will make me start thinking like things that aren't happening. Like, Vince hasn't responded to me in a couple hours. Is he okay? Did he get in a car accident? Shelby, is she mad at me for no reason at all? Is my mom like frustrated with me because I'm not doing good enough, like at whatever? Like it's just about my surroundings. I start to come up with things. It's not necessarily like physical things that like trigger me as often. I feel like I'm more of the thought of it, like the disordered one. Whereas I see something and get triggered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I create it in my head.
Okay.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
Wow, sorry. You guys are going through that.
I mean, still alive, so.
Yeah, that's all you can do. You just have to for me, what works out when I'm having intrusive thoughts and to separate it from reality is I'll ask myself if I feel like I'm worried about my health, like I feel doomed. And if I'm like, oh, I feel doomed right now, then I'll be like, oh, it's just anxiety. I'm cool.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because when you have anxiety, you tend to feel like it's the end of the world, like you're gonna die. And I'm like, do I feel like my life's in danger? Yes. Okay, great. I am just having anxiety. I'll be fine. Just
don't trust your intuition.
Yeah, don't. Honestly, like cold stuff helps.
Yeah, I try to do like the 5 things, like what are 5 things I can see, what are 5 things I can hear, what are... I hope that's helped my brain calm down a little bit. They say sucking on sour candy helps too.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's curious.
Yeah, when I first started having like bad panic attacks, I like didn't know what was happening. I felt like I was having like a heart attack, and like my arms would get like very tingly. And I literally was like, I have to lay down and hug my pillow, and I can do literally nothing else. Like, and you just have to wait it out.
You do.
Yeah.
And basically what I've read is that like a panic attack can last from like 5 to 20 minutes, but you can have them back to back, so it can feel like a very long span of time. But yeah, so basically you just kind of have to wait it out. They're not like triggered necessarily, so you can be like, I'm totally content in my life, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Which is really like a struggle. But I feel like now that I know kind of what it is more, I can be like, okay, like go for a walk, like get some fresh air, get a glass of cold water, like
milk.
No.
Some whole milk.
That's what's helped me the most. Is I used to feel like I needed to just like shut myself out and like sit in my room for a while until it goes away, but the more I'm like active and like doing something to distract me, it helps a lot. Like go on a walk, drink a cold glass of water,
milk.
Get off my phone, and just like maybe read a few pages of a self-help book or something.
Honestly,
sound crazy.
No,
Sounds great.
My go-to thing is like going outside. Being outside really helps with anxiety for me, because being trapped in a room makes me feel stuffy and like stuck. So I'll go outside and like, you know, again,
that's I feel
hug
like
a tree.
I love the beach so much. Like I feel like when I'm at the beach just laying down and I'm like, oh, I can stay here all day. I think it's genuinely because of the sun. It like just makes you feel so much more relaxed.
Just like recharges your batteries a little bit.
I don't remember like being super anxious at a beach. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do. That's where I'd go when I have anxiety. I'm at the beach with anxiety.
Well, to help with the anxiety. You know what I mean? If I'm just laying there, I feel like I'm not going to get triggered as easily as I would if I'm sitting in my room on my phone, or if I'm in a crowded space kind of thing.
Honestly, this will sound bad. Very Gen Z, millennial. I don't know what I am. Actually, let me know. I'm born in 1999.
You're Gen Z. She'd be millennial.
Yeah,
we're
last
Gen Z.
year.
Oh.
Yeah, she's 97, 96.
96. 97's Gen Z.
Yeah, so
okay, so we're in Gen Z. So this might sound very Gen Z of me, but going on TikTok helps my anxiety, because my attention span is like
you just get
continues being distracted because the videos are so short that my mind will immediately come off of it.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Thank you, TikTok.
That's probably the only social media platform that I feel okay with if I'm feeling really anxious, to just like sit down and just like look at some fun stuff.
So many people on TikTok are so real about their disorders that it's very comforting, and it makes you feel like you're not alone, because people are as crazy as you. And you're like, oh, perfect. I'm not alone.
Yeah, you feel like you're the only one, but you're really not. I feel like more people than not experience anxiety often.
You know what's crazy? Let's drive back to the year 2018. My friend Quinlan, I was talking to her, and she was telling me that she's never had anxiety before, and she like didn't understand why people had it or something like this. I'm not going to say word verbatim, but she told me that her friend told her that, because Quinlan started developing anxiety, and she was confiding in her friend about it, and her friend was like, it's not even real, like you can't see it on a brain scan, like I just don't get it, like just stop having anxiety.
Stop having
and
anxiety.
It's like, that's why it's so debilitating.
Just relax.
Yeah.
Right? Just stop thinking about it.
Yeah, because you can't see anxiety on a brain scan.
Yeah, you can't.
It's your thoughts.
That's where the like not being triggered and still having it thing like drives me crazy. Like that to me is like the worst part. Like, because if you at least know what's kind of like triggering you, then it's like, okay, at least I can like see it coming or like deal with it the next time. But like, because I still will have panic attacks even if I'm scrolling on TikTok.
I mean, it doesn't completely dissolve it.
But, you know, I mean, there's also times when, like, my dog's, like, in my face barking at me, and then I'm, like, I have a panic attack, and I freak out. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is a trigger, apparently.
It really frustrates me when people say things like that. Like, how it's just gonna, like, you know,
you'll be fine.
It's like, you can't see it on a brain scan, but feel my heart rate right now. Okay? Yeah. I'm anxious.
Yeah, it's always the what's happening? Like what's what's
what's
causing
wrong?
it?
Yeah,
what's wrong?
And I'm just like, I don't know. It just is happening. Can you just be nice to me?
Yeah.
And like just let it ride.
Yeah.
The best thing you
Through
can
it.
do, I feel like, for the people in your life that are there for you in those moments is to tell them exactly what you need in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, when I'm having anxiety, I need comfort. I don't need logic.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to not touch me.
Yep.
Don't talk to me, and just like, maybe make me a snack. I don't know. It's different for everyone.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to be like same thing, touched or hovered around or whatever, but I like conversation. Like when I feel anxious, Vince just like kind of does small talk with me and distracts me and helps me with that because he would like try to come on, hug me and like, get away from me.
Really?
Yeah.
I like to be like
I don't
hugged.
know. I already feel
I like a good bear hug when I'm feeling
I
stressed.
feel like tight and I feel like stiff and I feel like
Tight and
I just
stiff.
need to like wiggle it out.
See, I need like it's gonna be okay.
Everybody's different. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, everybody is different. But for me, I'm lucky because I do have Tourette's. And I always know that it is anxiety because my tics will come out and I'll be like, okay, I'm just anxious. And that helps me a lot is like when I do have anxiety out of nowhere, because I do have like somatic anxiety too, where I feel like I'm dying or like my throat's going to close on me or something. So like.
Wait, what's that? Like.
Body anxiety, like health anxiety.
Like physical anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I don't really know all that much about it. I feel like I think this is kind of a new thing for me.
Well, Shelby's also, a psychologist.
I know she's helped me a lot. Like anytime I have any issue, I'm like, Shelby,
ding dong, and I'm like, your girl have a Xanax.
Literally, this will help you calm down.
Oh my god, I really do love Xanax. It's helped me through my darkest days.
Oh yeah, I know we've all helped each other.
Yeah,
things. Do you think, Shel, this is a question for you. Do you think because you're so knowledgeable on these situations, do you think when people come to you for advice or anxiety like I would or if Charlotte would, does that like overwhelm you and make you anxious? Or do you think do you kind of like turn into like a different, like you turn into doctor?
I feel like
I see you put your doctor hat on in a way.
Yeah, because I never want to like come at you with like so much anxiety that I'm having because I know like you also struggle with it.
Yeah.
I feel like when we get into conversation about it, it helps each other, but I'm never going to be like... So like, how do you feel about that?
I do put my chef's coat on a little bit when I'm talking to people about anxiety and it really depends on my own state. If I'm already overwhelmed and having anxiety and somebody's coming to me about well, in a way it could give me like a way to step out of my shoes and like focus on someone else.
Yeah.
I think in that moment I'm just like wanting to help people and give them advice on what to do, and it kind of takes me out of my own body in a way.
That's what I was thinking is like anytime I come to you, I feel like you just really do get into like a mode where you're like give good advice and you just try and like help me understand what is happening.
Yeah, because sometimes you're trying all these tactics, you're trying all these therapies for yourself, and sometimes it really just doesn't work, and you need some fucking friendship advice.
You need something.
So if you guys have any questions, we do have a doctor on the podcast.
I only have my bachelor's. Yeah, I'm a doctor. I only have my bachelor's, but that doesn't matter.
It's a doctor without the doctorate.
But yeah, no, if you have any questions, if you're like, what is this that I'm feeling? Maybe Shelby can help you.
If you're thinking about going into the field, she'd have advice for you. I don't. I'm a teacher.
So if you want to learn a lesson, you can come to Mads. If you want to get some mind advice, you can come to me. And if you want to get beautiful photos taken of you and your family, go to Charlotte. We're the complete package, you guys. We have it all.
Mm-hmm. We do.
We have it all. We might all be a little mentally disturbed.
But who's not? Who's not?
Who isn't?
I feel like if you're not a little mentally disturbed, there's something going on.
Yeah.
You're too perfect.
There are people out there like that though that like do not struggle.
Yeah.
They simply don't struggle.
My dad's the most like calm person and just like relaxed person I've ever met in my life. And I was telling my dad about me having panic attacks, and he was just like, I'm sorry, like I don't know what that's like, and I know I can't tell you to feel better, like whatever, but I hope that you do. And
I don't know what to tell you. I just have never felt that.
Yeah.
I'm always in a tranquil, peaceful state of mind.
Have you guys ever experienced like a really bad like anxiety and or panic attack? Like what's like the worst you've gone through? Because how some can be silent, Some can be you're curled up on a ball, bawling your eyes out. Like, have you guys had any like that really stick out to you? That's like, this is one of the worst experiences I've had with anxiety.
For show.
Do shell.
Yeah.
Do shell. Do share.
Okay, mine. Okay, one of the one that like pops in my head immediately is back in the like really dark days of when I was really struggling with anxiety. I was just driving home, and then I got a Starbucks coffee, and I remember it tasted different, and that gave me anxiety because I was like, you know, I had food anxiety. I'm like, oh, this tastes different. I don't know what they put in here. It wasn't my drink. And so my Diet Dr. Kelp. I'm like, oh my God, what if they put a different milk in my drink? And so I'm like, all right, just chill, dude. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm driving, and then I'm like, my throat's closing. My throat is closing.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm like tearing at my shirt, my neck, and I'm like going for any kind of like beverage in my car to just like make sure that my throat's not closing. And I start like shaking and like sweating in my car. And then I finally get home, and I just lay in my bed, and I'm like Googling like allergic reaction, like symptoms, like should I go to the hospital? And then I don't remember what happened, but I just waited it out, and I was fine, of course. But it's all in your head, and you literally like, for me, like my throat will feel like it's closing when I get really bad anxiety.
Absolutely, I've experienced the same thing.
That whole story really reminds me a lot of like getting high. Like smoking weed, and just like my mind would do like shit like that.
Oh yeah,
I would smoke, and like, oh my gosh, my mind would just like, it did not help me at all. It was like, I guess that would be more like of the intrusive thoughts, but I don't really have them like regularly. That's why I stopped smoking.
Yeah, smoking definitely does not help with anxiety. If you have anxiety problems, I feel like.
Yeah, but my worst anxiety panic attack moment was when I moved to Arizona, and like I was in the Airbnb that you guys came to, and I didn't have a job lined up. I'm in a new place I've never been before. I only know one like person, being my husband, and like it was a really stressful, like just very stressful environment, I guess. I don't know, it was supposed to be an exciting time, but like, holy fuck, it was so stressful. And yeah, I just would go up on that like second floor, like the loft, and like it was like actually like crippling. Like I could not do anything, and like it was like I had just, I don't know how to explain it other than like tingles, like like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's like tingly down your arms. And like, and that's like a sign of a heart attack too. So when I would look up that symptom, it would say, oh, you're like having a heart attack.
Like, great.
Go to the ER. And so I would be like, what the fuck? Like, no, this can't be true. Because I'm also like a person that's like not into like medicine or like going to like the doctor. Like I really avoid it at all costs. So if something's happening to me, I'll be like, I'll just like wait as long as possible to see if it's actually like a thing before I go take care of myself, because that's too scary to deal with.
You're like on your last breath. You're like, maybe I should call 911.
Yeah, so that's definitely probably like for sure my worst panic attacks.
I mean, I've had a good amount of panic attacks, anxiety attacks, whatever you like to call them in my days. I feel like I can't pinpoint an exact one, but for like the majority of the bad ones usually have been, for me, hyperventilating so much to the point of like vomiting.
Wow.
Yes. Like I start, thinking, and then I start crying, and then my chest feels tight, so I start breathing weird, and then it just over time I let it get worse because I'm in that state.
It does like turn into like a dry heaving almost kind of thing.
I usually would just cough and like dry heave, throw up, because I'm in that panic state. So I don't have like I can't calm myself down in that exact moment. So it gets to the point of where I'm like sick,
vomiting.
Wow,
Vom.
I haven't had one of those happen in a really long time though, so that's really good.
That's good.
That's good.
I feel like as I get older, I work at it differently, maybe. So I don't let it extend to the point where I get sick. It's,
Yeah, as you get older, anxiety does get better. I will be that's not true for every case.
Yeah.
But with generalized anxiety disorders, I feel like you learn more about it as the time goes on.
Yeah.
So you're better equipped and get different skills that work out.
I think the more knowledge you have about what's actually happening to you helps you deal with it.
Exactly.
You know your body like the best.
Yeah, 100%. Like at this point, I know my body down to the T when I'm having anxiety, and I know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And everybody will get there, which leads us to our sponsor, BetterHelp. Just kidding. We wish, though. We wish.
That would have been perfect.
About free therapy. Just pay a down payment of $59.95 for your
Today.
first week.
Yeah. Well, that was fun diving into our anxiety. I mean, heck.
What a great time.
Darn.
I mean, it's good to talk about. It makes me feel better that I'm not completely alone. It does get tough when I have those thoughts, but I know, like, literally in a couple hours, I'm like, well, what was I so freakishly nervous about?
Yeah. Yeah, you can look back and laugh. And be like, that was fun. I deserve a sweet treat now.
Yeah, I'm going to treat myself real quick.
I'm a warrior. You know, they say that they give, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. So
Yes.
that's us. That is us.
Oh,
So
I'm grateful to have people in my life like you and Char and my relationship with my boyfriend to be comfortable enough to be able to talk with you guys about it. Excuse the doggy.
Every time.
I feel like some people don't have that outlet to go talk to somebody, especially if like children get scared to talk to people. I don't know. That's that's another part of my mind, but I feel like lots of people don't have relationships with people that are close to them to express their anxiety, especially men. I
Yeah.
feel like there's a whole stigma with men about sharing
totally.
their feelings and their anxiety.
Yeah.
So
It's not as like normal for men to be so open.
Yeah.
I mean, men don't even like to tell their friends
yeah,
if something's bothering them in general.
Right. Yeah, they just let it go.
They let it go because they're bros. Yeah. That's what bros do. They bro it out.
Yeah.
And that's not very bro of you to have anxiety.
Yeah, I not talking about Vince all the time, but one day we were like on a drive and he was telling me that he like felt something in his throat. He's like, I think I'm choking, but like every time I drink something, like there's nothing there. And I was like, okay, like, are you nervous about anything? He's like, no, not really. But he was giving me a lot of symptoms that I have experienced. And I think you're having anxiety. And he's like, what? Because men don't pinpoint it to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird when I still kind of am like, I don't really know. Like, I know for sure when I'm having a panic attack because it's like much more extreme. But yeah, like the anxiety in general. Because like until I figured out what a panic attack was, I thought that was anxiety.
Right.
So it is kind of hard when you don't really know. To pinpoint and like give yourself what you need.
Yeah.
At the time.
My ex like refused to admit that he'd be having anxiety, and he'd be like, my chest hurts, like right by my heart, like my back hurts a lot, and I'm like short of breath. I'm like, you're having anxiety right now, huh? And he's like, no, that's not what it is. No, it's unexplained.
You're like, then what's wrong?
I'm
like,
like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
and
unexplained.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, they just, I don't know. And it's a stigma and you can't hate them for it. But it's not normalized for men. So they're just not educated on
for sure
what it could be, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
They just live their blissful little lives being little guys. Little guys and dudes. Anyway, I just wanted to shout out my hat real quick because I'm wearing a Boba Fett hat. Shout out to Boba Fett. And Charlotte's wearing a Blue Jays hat, and Mads is wearing blue.
I don't have a Blue Jays hat. Yeah, so I wear blue.
Yeah, she's wearing blue. But this episode
is brought to you
by the
Blue Jays.
Yeah, Boba Fett, contact me, please. Anyway, are we ready to share our TMIs for the day, you think? Or do you guys have anything left to add about any stories or any excerpts?
I think I'm good. I mean, it'll just all probably be the same type of stuff.
I mean, we could go on all day about having anxiety. Yeah, it could be like a 5-hour episode if we really wanted to. Like, straight up. We have so many convos.
You guys don't want to hear that for 5 hours, so...
If you do, let us... Yeah, we'll do an audio book. Just let us know if you're interested. Also, shout out to our listener and our good friend Joey for rating us 5 stars on Spotify. We really appreciate doing that. Yes. If you guys do rate us 5 stars on Spotify, send a picture of it, send it to our DMs. we'll make you a little customized video just for being a supporter, and we'll shout you out in the episode. So Joey, thank you.
Yes.
You're
and I remember
best.
we had some other followers that we wanted some feedback about the podcast. And we got some love back.
We did get some love. So yeah, we posted something on our story.
I was like, we were like, okay, like how do you like the podcast so far? Is there anything, just getting feedback, because we do this every week, but it's good to know what you guys are liking and not liking or something.
First comment comes from Lethal Sting Co., which is my friend Hannah's company. She makes really cute clothing items and like super cute stuff.
Small business.
Small business, women supporting women. She said, I'm obsessed, TBH, which we really love. So thank you so much, Hannah.
We love that feedback.
We do. It means a lot, Anybody, like, starting a podcast is scary because you feel like, why would anybody like care what we have to say?
Yeah.
But we've had like such good responses and people supporting us. So thank you again, Hannah. We really appreciate it. And from our listener, Kaylin, just our listener, we don't know her personally.
We do.
Just kidding, Kaylin. We love you. She said, amazeballs.
Ugh.
Which is just beautiful.
A true supporter.
Yeah. It's really fun for us to do the podcast. So it's nice to like.
It's like our weekly therapy.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, it's nice to have our friends and family give us some feedback that they enjoy watching it, because we enjoy making it.
Listener love. Saranghe. What's I love you in Spanish? Te amo. Te amo tú. Gracias. So
take college Spanish?
Let's not get into that. So who wants to share their TMI?
My TMI is that I have, yet again, bug bites on my butt.
Girl.
What?
I think,
again?
yeah, I think from the dog park again, but I wore pants this time.
Well, they can go through the
I
pants.
think they went through it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
especially with the
The
leggings.
dog park is just a really buggy place. I need to stop sitting down.
Yeah, stop sitting. Try standing.
So, yeah.
Ay, Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío. Mads, what's yours? I'm still thinking of mine.
So last Friday I had an observation, which basically means someone from my college comes and like watches me teach for a little bit. And I have always gotten nervous with, doing, teaching in front of people, just having like, what's that class
Being
we took
like
in
center
college?
stage.
Speech.
Oh, speech.
Like I don't like doing that, even though here I am a teacher. It's easier in front of kids, trust me. But we have a post conference, so after I'm done teaching, we go off and we talk together. And the first thing she says, she goes, "Your face is bright red."
Perfect.
I look at her and I said, "Thank you. I have anxiety."
Oh my God, no! Please keep telling the story.
Well, and then she was like wanting to know more about it, and then she started like noting down that I have anxiety, and I was like, she's like, "Don't worry, I'm not going to share it with anybody. I just want to like get to know you." I'm like, okay. Just like writing down face gets red. She deals with things because she asked me how I deal with it. I'm like, just like exposure therapy, just getting through it. Just this relates so well to this week's episode, but just like exposing myself with situations, just dealing with it.
But just like, why do you have to make notes about it?
But she's like, exposure therapy.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm really happy you want to get to know me, but like, we don't have to talk about that stuff.
Please don't document that.
Right?
That's personal.
But, so that was a little. Like, it was fine that she wanted to get to know me and everything, but just the fact that she was like, "Your face is bright red." I'm like, first of all, I have hyperpigmentation. And second of all, yes, I'm nervous talking to you right now. You're a complete stranger. So that was my TMI this week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Weird.
You know what? I just thought of my TMI.
Okay.
This relates to this week's episode, but after I've had anxiety for a long time, I'll have bodily symptoms from my body constantly being in a heightened nervous state for so long. So after I'm done with my like anxiety cycle and I'm not having anxiety as frequent, my body has to recover basically.
It's like a period.
It is. So I quite literally am never in peaceful.
Normal.
I'm never normal. So this week I've been feeling like really dizzy, just because
Your anxiety's been heightened.
my anxiety was heightened and now it's not as heightened. So like now my body's coming down from it and like dealing with eye strain, dizziness.
Do you get diarrhea after you've been anxious a lot?
Oh, of course.
I do too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Really?
I've had.
It's like not really.
I had diarrhea just today, so.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not even anxious. So yeah, that's my TMI, which fits perfectly. So
Apparently, my anxiety makes me smell bad.
What?
Apparently,
Oh, like
anxiety
profusely sweating?
Yeah, like when I'm sweating, but it like smells worse than like normal sweat.
I've heard of that.
hormones.
Yeah, which I never knew. And then I was sweating the other day and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I smell worse like than normal. Like what's going on? Like I put deodorant on, like this is so gross. Like I don't understand. I'm doing my normal thing.
Yeah.
And Skylar and Shelby are like, oh, it's because of anxiety. And I was just like, what the fuck? You cannot win.
Yeah.
You literally cannot win.
Speaking of profusely sweating, I don't know if you remember, but like back in high school, I had a really bad sweating problem. I think it was because of my anxiety and just being nervous all the time. I had to take medication. I had this like roller and I had to put it on my armpit and it would like burn my armpit and it would like burn my follicles so I wouldn't sweat as much.
Follicule?
Yeah.
I think my sister did that once.
So I had to take medication because of that. I only did it for a short amount of time. I don't even know if it worked, but it like burned my armpits.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
that sounds like not like humane.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, it better freaking work.
People get like injections and stuff too to like help with their sweating.
I knew a guy who had struggled with sweating in high school.
Yeah.
He was my first kiss.
Oh. No.
Nope.
You know who you are.
He's not listening to this.
No, probably not. Well, you never know.
He's not. They're in Sweden, I think, right now.
They're all over the world. Anyways.
They're always traveling. Anyway, you know who you are, baby. Mwah. All right, so now let's dip right into our segment, Hot Wheels. Oh, yeah.
I don't have the cycle loaded on my phone, but I know it's probably between me and you.
Should we just duke it out?
You want to do 2 out of 3?
All right,
we can just do one.
They're gonna do rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh. Okay. And Mads has to spin the Hot Wheel. Ready? And alrighty, what does it say? Someone you hated in high school.
It's a brutal one.
I love it.
I know.
I would list it just because.
Someone I hated in high school was one of my ex-boyfriend's friends. You know who he is. He would like harass me and like bully me and make my ex feel bad about like hanging out with me and everything.
Yeah.
Which one?
Call him out.
Oh, okay. Call him out.
Yeah.
Or else I will.
I'm not gonna call him out. But his initials are JS.
Should I just name a bunch of guys who it could be for like harassing you?
No, it's fine. It's in the past. But I wish I mean I would, but I don't.
You think they're watching?
No, but I just don't want to say it. Just
you don't want him to harass you on the internet?
Just like how I don't want to say my exes.
He's gonna start sending us hate comments.
Oh, probably. I can't handle
hate
that.
mail.
I'll get upset.
No, he like straight up bullied Mads, like some like vile type
Very
harassment.
just childish. My ex's group of friends were just kind of just, you know, high school boys, immature. They would just be dicks.
Gross.
You know what I mean?
And your ex was best friends with my ex.
Yeah. It's a cycle.
It's a big, me and Mads date friends.
Yeah.
We always date people's
purpose.
best friends.
Purpose. Like I met my ex after she was already with her ex, and then my boyfriend now, her ex is his best friend, but that was after the fact that we were already dating. So it's just like...
So we introduced both of each other to our ex and our currents.
So many exes.
Lots of them.
No one's going to be able to keep track of that.
But, yeah.
I have 3. You know who you are.
That was the person I hated in high school. And he had a lot of money and he thought he was top shit. So
disgusting. Not even cute. And of course he's a theater kid. Disgusting. No, he's a theater kid.
No.
Just this specific theater kid. It's just icing on the cake.
He just thought he was the tip of the iceberg and he wasn't. He was a mean person. And he was mean to his friends' girlfriends. Like that's fucking rude.
Probably jealous.
Don't be fucking rude.
Just be a good person.
Well, everybody was like obsessed over her ex for some reason. Like in the friend group, they like loved him, like bowed down to him.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Because why else? That's weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a protective thing. I don't even know. They're like, we love you, but fuck your girlfriend.
Oh, so maybe he had a gay crush on him.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my god, no, I wouldn't. I would not be surprised.
They're all besties. They're still besties. They like They hang out all the time, travel together.
Yeah, yank each other off. All right, well, I think that concludes the end of this episode 7.
Yeah.
You guys, thanks.
Thanks for listening to our struggles. I'm sure we touched somebody's brain with our experiences. We had to have. Let us know if we did.
This was a mountain
Let us know
moving.
if we relate to you.
Yeah. Seriously, we're always here for you guys. Even if you don't know us in real life, we're here for you. And you can count on us to be relatable and normal.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Thanks so much for watching.
We're all going to go to therapy now.
Yes.
Yep.
AKA Shelby's room to talk to her about it.
All right. Let's go. About to get paid by the hour. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. And farewell.
Bye, my loves.
Bye.